Thank you. I talked this morning a little bit about how we leverage location information in journal articles, and now I want to give you an example about JournalMap itself, which is a product that I've led through my work as a research scientist with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. You know, when I come to a new place, it's easy to find almost anything that I want. I can pick up my phone and say, where's a coffee shop? And it'll give me a list of results. I get a map, I get directions to each one of those places. It's become so easy to find what we're looking for that we take it for granted. But why next step? And we started plotting the locations of, my thing's running away from me. We started plotting the locations of journal articles on a map and then enabled a search engine around that so that we can discover information geographically as well as thematically. So with JournalMap, we have a basic search interface here. You can type in keywords. You can filter it by additional things, you know, biophysical variables, stuff like that. For each of those points, you get some descriptive information on that. Also, with each of the points, then, as it comes up, you can then link out through the DOI number straight to the publisher's website for that article to get to the full content of it. Sorry, this thing is like gone runaway here. With a search from JournalMap, you can also get a plain old boring text list of your results, and you can even download that list in any number of formats if you so desire. We're also working at expanding the offerings of the downloads from that as well to include some spatial data formats to enable researchers. We can also create collections of articles in JournalMap. This is an example of some of my articles. So, you know, they can be individual author pages to feed that academic narcissism. It can be articles on a topic or a special query, and the collection pages then have stable URLs for them. You can also search within the collection results as well. So this is the typical georeferenced bibliography. Some examples of what we can do with this. If we start geotagging literature and being able to search by it and analyze that, we can do things like look for knowledge hotspots and cold spots, figure out where research may need to be done in order to fill out our knowledge of something. We can also use this technology to enable the transfer of knowledge from one area that may be well researched to another area that may be understudied. And knowing the context of the research prevents dead zebras. Also, another example is we could start actually looking at the sources of knowledge themselves. So this is two journals here, two journals that have very similar scope, but when we start looking at the distribution of the articles in those journals, that they're covering some fairly different geographies in terms of what content is actually available and what's actually being represented in these journals. One last example here, this is an infectious disease example. We can look at the spread of this case, West Nile virus, across the United States, and we can look at how the spread of the knowledge of that disease tracked the disease itself as it moved across the country. So for JournalMap, we're getting the data into the system in a number of different ways. We can read XML formats from publishers. We can do batch data entries. We can do single article entry for them. Everything goes in what we consider a semi-automated process of geotagging, and everything is reviewed and vetted before it actually goes live on the site. So our vision with JournalMap is to see this idea of geographic-based literature discovery become widespread in the publishing community. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing to try to make that happen. I talked earlier today about the need for standards, for publishing standards. For location reporting standards to enable this. We're partnering with a number of different people, most notably Taylor and Francis. It's really been helping us, and we're looking forward to additional as well. So just in closing, the problems that we face today almost all have a geographic component to them, and the knowledge that we're deriving as we grapple with these problems also has that same geographic context. So the location matters when we're searching for this information, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with JournalMap. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next presenter is Melinda Kenaway from Kudos.
Gosh, I'm going to need long arms.
Want to pull that along?
Yeah. Now, if anybody has motion sickness,